As we all know, fraud and corruption are major risks that can have a significant impact on any organisation, including the WA Country Health Service. We have a zero tolerance policy towards fraud and corruption. But do you know what fraud and corruption actually looks like in the workplace? Fraud and corruption usually involves some sort of benefit being obtained by a staff member through dishonesty or abuse of their position to either the benefit or the disadvantage of another person or organisation. This might be a situation where a staff member abuses their position to gain an advantage for themselves or others. Fraud and corruption can take a wide variety of forms. On one hand, it includes things like theft, misuse of a purchasing card or other resource, attendance and timesheet anomalies, false claims of overtime, or potentially giving preferential treatment to a patient or consumer who may be a friend or a relative. The other end of the spectrum involves bribery, or accepting kickbacks from suppliers or contractors as a result of awarding work. As well as the potential financial costs to our health service, fraud and corruption often leads to a damaged reputation for the organisation. It's easy to do the right thing, but it can be easy to turn a blind eye as well. All of us share a responsibility to identify and report suspected fraud or corruption, to behave ethically and promote a culture of integrity within our workplace. While not all suspicious circumstances will turn out to be fraud and corruption, there are some red flags that you might notice. They can include things like a colleague who's unwilling to share duties or take leave, replacing existing suppliers with someone they have a close connection or a relationship with, skipping approval steps in processes, not keeping accurate records or receipts, trying to access areas which they shouldn't have access to, or an unexplained change in financial circumstances, perhaps like a sudden windfall. Stress, addiction and gambling problems can also be potential factors. If you're concerned that someone at work may be fraudulent, dishonest or corrupt, you need to report it. You may have heard about some recent high-profile cases of corruption within the West Australian public sector. These cases help us to identify fraud and corruption and to recognise the importance of early reporting. They also show us just how important it is to have strong mechanisms in place to promote integrity and prevent fraud, misconduct and corruption. The WACS Integrity Governance Arrangements and our Fraud and Corruption Control System outlines our approach to managing these types of risks, including the roles and responsibilities of individuals and business areas in the prevention and management of fraud and corruption, what fraud and corruption is, and the process of detecting it, fraud and corruption risk identification process and controls, how reports of alleged fraud and corruption are investigated or referred to external agencies, and how suspected allegations of fraud or corruption should be managed, reported, and ultimately dealt with. For more information about the code and how to report a suspected breach of the code, visit our WACS Integrity Unit intranet page.